skilled guys, right, against two guys that have a lot of heart. Yes, and I'm saying that they're not skilled, but I mean,
he draws power from the state of California.
He does.
That's it. His source of energy. He goes away and he gets beat up, but when he's in.
Welcome to MMA MADE, the best MMA show around the world. Mighty Devin Debo Taylor. What's something doing?
Something feels different.
Yeah, something does feel different.
I was doing a...
Oh, I thought you were doing the champion.
No, I mean, it's just like, you just have to realize that you go through struggles in life.
Yeah, you do go through some struggles.
And I take pride knowing I actually pick fights and I believe in them winning. And you have kind of gotten through on like lucky, just, I didn't really expect him to win, but he did. And then
I'm pretty sure last week you're like, well, who do you want to go with? And I'm like, no, I'm the champion. I'm going to let you go first. And you're like, no, I insist. So then I picked the fighter, and then you picked your fighter.
You picked the fighter because that was the favorite.
I would have picked Warren even if he was fighting Dantas.
That is dumb.
Well, we'll never know, because now he's...
Actually, we will know.
When he had that intro.
And so when that happens, then I'll win, and then you'll... Oh, well, I won the first time around. Yeah, I hate you. I just want you to know.
Anyways, as you can tell, we're not in the studio tonight. We decided for our last episode of Season 1 that we want to do something a little different. So we're actually at my house. We're in the garage, in the man cave. Beer fridge and whatnot behind us.
Are you gonna do like where you have to blur all of the like logos out?
No, I'm hoping that maybe they'll see it and then they'll give us some sponsorship. Like we got Pepsi up here on top, so Pepsi hit us up, and some other Pepsi products. We got some Heineken, some Corona. You know how we do it. So, anyways, how you doing this week? I mean, obviously you're not champion, so you're about 12 pounds lighter from a belt.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing.
Please tell me.
Like I said, I have made some good picks this year. As I look back on the year, I picked fighters that I believed in, would be upsets, they would come through with some big wins. And you picked favorites. And, I loved watching Michael Bisping lose. I think that was all worth it for me.
Okay. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was happy to see Shogun lose against him.
Yes. See, I didn't take a shot at Condit just breaking.
But I wanted to.
I could have gone there. I could have gone to the grading floor now, but I did it.
I kind of like this layout for the studio. It's kind of cool.
The problem is there's nothing really in, normally we're kind of like in chairs.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just come through.
Yeah, we can just go out of your It does make it a little easier to kill each other.
Or if you already noticed, I could just kick you in the jump. I can jump kick.
If you see me fall over behind this, then you know he just did team jump kick, team jump punch over here. So actually for today's show, we're going to be going on break after tonight. We're going to be off for about 5 to 6 weeks. Season 2 is going to premiere on June 19th.
June 19th, okay.
Tonight is more like reminiscing on what we've done, and we'll talk about some fights a little bit, but, I mean, are you happy with what we've done? I think it's been fun.
Yeah. You know what? We're going to have to, you're going to have to digital put that in the record. I wonder what our records are.
Well, this is what's going to happen, just to give everyone kind of an overview.
Because I'm probably ahead. You're going to call like half of those like, well, it was preseason. You're going to make up whatever.
You're going to make me go through every single show that This is the 22nd episode.
Yep.
No, I think that's going to be your homework. Since I'm the one that has to edit everything, you're going to go. And then, of course, you're going to be like, I'm 34-2, and you're like 5-38. So,
if you're not going to do
this is what we'll do. We'll make it easy. We'll just start off with a clean slate come season 2.
No, we're going to go season 1 record. So
I end as a champion because I'm the champion right now. So I get to end as season 1 champion.
No, it's like
development. It's like Bellator.
No, it's like soccer where you go on an overall and you look at who had more wins.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's like tourney.
Yeah,
it's like
there was a long Fedor reign for a while.
It was not that long, dude.
You know what?
It was not that long. It was a few weeks.
It was enjoyable. I know that. I was calling my mom every other day. Mom, champion of the world.
No, but there'll be some additions to the studio. There will be some new graphics that we're going to do. We will have an actual belt. We will have an actual belt.
I will have a belt. You won't have a belt. But
the show will have a belt,
you'll
and
get
then
to see my belt.
I'll probably be
You'll get to see
wearing it more than you. Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
But actually, what I'm most excited about, though, is the new intro. You know, we filmed that back in, I think it was like during episode 12. We filmed that.
I was looking pretty sexy. I remember that.
You were a sexy bitch.
I really was.
And so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. It should be cool. I think you know, as great as this season has been, and you know, the 8 people that like to watch, you know, every week.
We've got to be at least 10 by now.
Really?
I feel like we're blowing up.
I mean, we might be at a dozen. We might be at a dozen.
Okay. Now you're going to
I'm gonna double it up.
Okay.
But no, I think season 1 has been fun, and it's been good.
Yeah. Your favorite fight of the season?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, you know, a quick one off the top of my head, obviously the Hendricks Lawler fight. I mean, that was pretty awesome. Actually, episode 2. Was it episode 1 or 2? No, it was 1, I think. Bigfoot Silva against Mark Hunt.
Ooh.
That was like one of our first or second episode we got to debut, so it was right around this. That was a great fight. What's memorable for you?
You know, I just can't stop thinking about Big Country just putting Big Nog's lights out. Because I pictured your head the whole time. And then I remember the episode where I'm thinking, you're talking, and the whole time I'm just thinking like, well, I guess it's just the overhand right. The whole time, it's just, oh, if I overhand right, just that big old melon, just, and then you fall asleep, and
nice.
Beautiful stuff.
Nice. I'm glad that's the fight. Well, now that you mention it, I kind of like when Hendo through that H-bomb against Shogun.
Just your one. It's just the one.
It's all good. I'll take that one and I'll run with it. Look, I can actually kind of run it too because we're not sitting down. As much as I do like this alternate studio location, I still like our studio better. You know, because we have the MMA MADE logo. It's a nice studio. I think it's going to be better when we come back. It's not going to be dramatically different, but have some subtle differences. You know, little touches here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little extra flavor.
All right. Little flavor's always good. Little spices, spice it up a little bit. Okay.
It's like from Friday. So anyways, yeah, so last week we had Bellator on Friday night. The card didn't go the way they wanted to. Dantas got hurt, so Silva had to step in. Warren lost the first 2 rounds.
I thought I had a shot.
I was like, dude, Silva's gonna beat him. I'm like, no.
I thought I had a shot. I was trying not to get my heart in it, but it was. And then kind of, I guess you call it championship rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the 3rd, but he turned
it on. He turned it on.
Champ. I thought with the bad eye injury, he's a little rusty, but he came out,
it
won
worked out. And then I have to say that our boy Baseman, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but you have to look at it like this. You know, Bjorn makes a phone call, or whoever in the Bellator organization calls him up, you know, and I don't know all the stipulations because I spoke to him via some messaging that day on the day of the fight, but I haven't talked to him since, and I didn't talk to him prior, and I found out like probably hours after he found out. You know, he put a thing on Facebook, hey, basically took a fight on 24 hours notice and fighting a legitimate welterweight. So, you know, it was, you step up to the plate. Like, some people would say it's a bad decision because you don't have a chance to train properly, get a game plan. But, I mean, if you're doing a favor for the boss and, you know, they're giving you a safety net, like, hey, you take this, you're doing us a favor, we're going to definitely give you another shot, you know, and I don't know all the details, and I'm hoping that's what the situation is. But yeah, he stepped in. He went to co-main event because his, you know, the Mad Russian's opponent got hurt, and it didn't work out for Baseman, unfortunately. But you know, mad props for him just stepping up to the plate to
you know,
do it.
like you said, a lot of fighters probably ducked that shot. You know, he might not have even been the first call. Might have called some other people, and other people were scared, and our boy's the one to step up.
Yeah.
And so
the one thing you can't train,
that.
the one thing you cannot train is heart. And that guy has more heart than anyone I've ever met, like straight up. Like all friendship aside, the dude has the heart of a lion. And like you said, maybe he wasn't the first call because there's two different things. There's probably a million scenarios, but there's two that cross my head or mind or whatever you want to call it, my dome. First thing is where's the weight at? Where's your weight? They're making phone calls like, hey, where you at? If you're training with some heavyweights right now, like I know Gavin that trains with Rampage, he's a welterweight typically, but if he's training with Rampage, he might be walking around at 190 right now. He ain't cutting 20 pounds in 24 hours. And even if you did, that's so unhealthy, even if it's physically possible. I don't know what Baseman cuts, but I'm pretty sure he probably walks around close to what he fights at. So they make the call, where you at? Oh, I'm at 174. All right, get on a plane, I don't know all the situation, but, and then you have other calls that people go, no, I'm not fighting that crazy guy. I mean, he's legit. I want to have time to train. I want to have time to game plan.
Yeah.
Baseman's like, no, give me the opportunity. I'm ready. So there's pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah, but you do the boss a favor and you step up and
that's what you do, Yeah. So, anyways, we do have UFC coming up this Saturday. Finally, Bellator has a card Friday, but dude, yesterday I think it was they announced they lost their main event and they lost a prelim fight. 5 days out. That's not good, and it's only less than 2 weeks out from their pay-per-view.
String of bad luck for them here.
And 2 weeks out from their pay-per-view, less than 2 weeks. That doesn't look good. That doesn't give people the confidence. Like, hey,
Some people say bad things come in threes. You're hoping it's not like that third fight also gets a little.
No, and the thing is like, I do want to see this pay-per-view succeed on many different levels. Not just because I feel that Bellator is a good organization, but I feel that there needs to be a legitimate competitor in the UFC for more than one reason. But, some people say no. Some people don't like that. But, I believe that, it's a fair market. It's an open market. If there's legitimate organizations out there, let them promote. And I think they're a legitimate organization.
The one thing that I don't want to see, though, is... we just had the big boxing, Mayweather versus Maidana. I don't want to see the UFC end up, MMA, mixed martial arts in general, becoming kind of the politics where there's fighters ducking other fighters, where, it was kind of the issue we had with Hector Lombard. For so long, he was in Bellator. We didn't, everyone wanted to see him take these fights with other guys. Everyone from different organizations are kind of talking their crap. Oh, my guy would come over and he would kill you, and no, he hasn't fought anybody, this and that. So that's the one thing that I fear, and maybe at some point those super fights will happen where one organization's fighter will fight someone else. Maybe you'll have the UFC belt, and then you'll want to fight the Bellator champ. But
like a crossover, a super crossover.
Something like that. That's the one thing that I kind of fear. In boxing, it's kind of questionable in how some of it works. And
well, it's different too because
fighters.
In boxing, you're not employed by an organization. You're like a freelance agent. You know what I mean? And then in MMA, you're owned. Owned, but you're under contract.
Right, exactly.
The only thing that we've seen crossover that I can think of in MMA is when Frank Mir fought Daniel Cormier. That's only and it was both under Zuffa's umbrella.
Well, back when there was Pride, right? Pride fighters were open, and the UFC basically tried it way back when. Chuck Liddell fought over in Pride. You had a couple of guys who went back and forth.
But that was pre-Zuffa, wasn't it?
Yeah. The problem what they found was, I don't actually know that it was pre-Zuffa, but the problem that they found is what happens if our fighter goes over here and loses, kind of legitimizes way too much of them. And it makes our fighter look bad.
Like what happened to Cyborg.
Over.
Like what happened to Cyborg.
Exactly. Cyborg goes and fights in, she'd be a great kickboxer, goes and gets knocked out, or goes and gets beat down pretty good. And then, now we've lost some of the mystique to our champ for what? What was there to gain out of that? So,
yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
They did that recently, too, actually. I was talking more for in the United States market for crossovers, but when Strikeforce was pre-Zuffa, they were open contract too, so a lot of their fighters would go over and fight Dream.
Yes.
Like Diaz, Overeem, a couple other guys. They were going back and forth.
Yes.
So,
but a couple big fights with Shinya Aoki.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And it would be nice to see those super fights.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see if some of the other organizations can kind of develop some talent, some legit guys, and then maybe that'll happen. We'll see.
Well, back to the main point is we were talking about Bellator being legit and wanting to make sure that their pay-per-view was going to go good, because last year in November they had to cancel their pay-per-view and they didn't put it on Spike for free. And if something like that happens to them again, I think that would be kind of the nail in the coffin.
I'm sure this is big for them. I mean, they've done a lot of promotion. They've got basically all the big names that they have. I mean, this is I think you would say their two biggest fights that they could even dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, King Mo versus Rampage is huge. Two of their biggest names from other, obviously from the UFC, and then kind of from Strikeforce is where King Mo is more known from.
Yeah.
And then the Alvarez-Chandler fight is the biggest Bellator draw that they had ever really had.
Yep.
Those first two fights are absolute barn burners, probably their biggest successes as Bellator fights. So this pay-per-view is basically as big and as stacked as they can make it.
Yeah, no, they have to get all those names on there. They're not going to sell. They're not going to get the buys, right? So they stack it. You've got Tito against Shlemenko. You've got, like you said, Eddie Alvarez against Chandler, Rampage against Mo. You've got Congo. I'm not sure who Congo's fighting, but I know he's on the card. I don't know if they've officially announced it, but he is on the card. And I'm surprised, and I know we both spoke about this weeks ago, what happened to War Machine versus Riggs? I haven't heard anything about that since we spoke about it when they got pulled off the tourney, because we thought for sure that they were going to be on this pay-per-view, and I haven't seen anything about it.
That might be trying to keep that negative publicity. Like you said, some of those tweets and some of that bad publicity might have hurt the boy War Machine.
Maybe. I mean, it's happened before, right? When he was in the UFC.
Yeah, which I know would frustrate Diesel.
Oh yeah, for sure. They want to go at it. So
yeah, I don't know what happened in that fight. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get that one, so we'll be watching it.
Hell yeah, we will. We're going to be watching it in about a week and a half.
I mean, I'll be picking on the right fighters. And
luckily for you, all the fans won't be around to see that you're wrong. We're going to do some, even though we're going to be on break and we're not going to be doing episodes of MMA MADE per se, we'll do some things here and there. We'll leak some pictures out of stuff going on, like the intro and stuff like that. We gotta keep the promotion going, even though we won't have fresh episodes per se.
I like that. Okay, I like that.
So actually, it's getting clto the end. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Actually, we talked a little more fights than I thought we were going to. I do want to thank all of our sponsors that have helped us out tremendously this year. George Collins, first of all, thank you so much, because without him, he's the one that motivated me to get back in doing this. So I want to thank him.
And I'd like to thank myself for really being the talent behind all of this.
See, I can actually come over to this camera now and be like,
I was trying to get serious here. I want to thank Mom, my Dad. They created all of this just amazing, just beautifulness. So they really are to thank for the success. I'm just saying, they are to thank for the success of the show. Okay. Mother's Day is coming up. Thank you, Mama, because his show would be terrible without you.
Anyways, that's all for tonight. Real quick, the sponsors: Four Rings Race Group, Design Effects, RDS, and of course, Living Fat. Thank you so much. Season 1, Devin Debo Taylor.
I think I got a better record.
The champ